Welcome to the Mechanical Workflow for CTC Suites tool webinar. The intention of today's webcast is to show you tools within the CTC Suites that will give you the easiest bang for your buck as a mechanical engineer utilizing Revit for design and documentation. I'm not going to cover all of the tools, and there are lots more tools that are of value to you and the rest of your office, but I tried to pick a few tools to highlight the typical things that you come up against day to day using Revit with mechanical design. My name's Drew Jarvis. I'm a technical consultant at SolidCAD. I've been lucky enough to assist my clients with the transition to BIM workflows for over 20 years. Starting with AutoCAD and AutoCAD verticals like AutoCAD MEP, I learned how to program for AutoCAD, and since then I've learned to program for lots of other applications too. I've also been using Revit for over 15 years now, implementing it into clients' workflows all across Canada. Now today we're going to focus on the CTC software tools. But before we do that, I just wanted to take 2 minutes of your time to let you know about SolidCAD. So we're not only CTC's partner in Canada, as well as a Platinum Autodesk reseller, we also offer many services to our clients. Located in multiple offices across Canada, SolidCAD is sure to have offers close by to assist you with software implementation, support, and purchases. All SolidCAD customers also benefit from access to Solid Assist. We have full-time staff dedicated to providing free technical support by email, phone, or desktop share meetings. Now, Autodesk and CTC tools are just one of the many partner products at SolidCAD. We also partner with companies like Bluebeam for PDF, Matterport, Faro, and Leica for scanning processes, and many other great partners that you can see on the screen here. Now today we'll be looking at tools from the CTC Express tools. So that includes the different BIM suites. However, there are other tools available that I won't be showcasing today, including Hive, which is a content management solution, and the MEPP pack, which is a great starter solution if you're looking for specific mechanical, electrical, plumbing content. Now, our learning objectives today will be to identify the free versus the licensed tools that are available, description of some popular tools for mechanical workflow, apologies there, it says electrical, and we'll see how to obtain the suite. Now, note that on each of the ribbons for the CTC tools, you'll see that there are light colored items and darker colored items. So on the blue one in the middle there, which is the CTC BIM Manager Suite, the light blue tools are the free ones. So if you download and install the CTC BIM Manager Suite, for 14 days you get everything on there. After 14 days, you'll continue to have access to the light blue tools, while the darker blue tools there are they paid for. So similar thing with the Batch Suite in purple and the Project Suite in green. Now, the first tool that we're going to look at today, after I go through the PowerPoint, I'll do a live presentation of them. The first tool will be the View Creator. Now, this tool assists you with the creation of views within your project. In a typical mechanical project, you might have floor plans for ducts, plumbing, piping, fire protection, and more. Each of these sub-disciplines will have a view for each level in the building. So 4 sub-disciplines, 12 levels, you've got 48 views required. Now, creating those manually is very time consuming in as much as the naming part of it, ensuring you have the right view type, the right view template, all set. So the View Creator tool is the tool that's going to enable you to automate that process and remove a manual error. And also just get you away from the laborious process of that manual creation, allowing you to focus on more valuable tasks. The second tool will be the Invisibility Advisor. Now, almost every user has issues with the visibility of elements in Revit. I remember when I used to do a lot of fundamentals classes, and in the days following each class, I would always be getting phone calls and emails from the attendees asking them how to help find objects that they couldn't find in their view. So it might have ended up in a category or view range, maybe a filter or the discipline, whatever it was, there was always a reason why it was hiding. If you compare it to AutoCAD, if something's missing in CAD, well, it means the layer's off or the layer's frozen. Whereas in Revit, there are dozens of different ways that the objects can be missing. So the Invisibility Advisor enables you to select an object, identify the view you can't see that object in, and then have the tool find the reason why. Now, the next tool is actually a free tool. So this one, if you download the suite, you'll have access to this forever, even if you don't have a license of it. Now, the Project Cleaner is available to help you find links, imports, views and sheets, things that you want to remove from the project in order to minimize the file size. So why would we do that? Well, when you receive a file from an external consultant, quite often you can free up to 50% of the file size by removing things like views, view templates, filters, sheets, links, imports, and images, the things you can see on the tabs there. Also, when you're sending a file out, maybe you want to send a PDF set of the documentation, but you just want to supply them with a model. You don't want to give them all of the other stuff. Well, the Project Cleaner is the quick way to clean up that file by removing all of the other data. Now, this next tool is a fantastic tool when it comes to using manufacturer's content inside of a project. Now, you may have spent some time inside of Revit creating schedules, putting shared parameters to use inside of those schedules in order to make sure that everything works. You might not be in the situation where you have multiple columns called voltage showing different parameters from different families, and the whole mess that can happen. Once you've got it all locked down and set up properly, it works fantastically, right? Until you need to insert some manufacturer content. Manufacturer content will come perhaps even with its own shared parameter file. That's of little use to you, really. What it won't do is work with your shared parameters until you have something like the parameter jammer. All we need to do with a parameter jammer is identify a schedule that you want it to work with, manufacturer content that you've installed or loaded into your project that you want to work, and then you just allow it to do the process of going and putting those shared parameters in there. Now, if you haven't had to do this, I can quickly explain how long this takes. For each shared parameter, you have to select the family, you have to edit the family. Once it opens up, you then have to go into the family types, and add a new shared parameter. Then you got to go and browse for it. Then you got to find the right group inside of the shared parameter dialog, which isn't obvious perhaps where it's going to be. Then you got to select the shared parameter, click OK, probably click OK again. And finally, you have one of them done. Repeat that process 20 times for all the other 19 shared parameters or 20 shared parameters you have there. It's a horrible manual process unless you give the parameter jammer a go. And finally, we're going to take a look at the project processor. This is a tool that will help keep your projects running smoothly. It's going to help you clean away types that are cluttering up your file. For example, what I'll show you is getting rid of all those line patterns that start with the word import. So when you bring CAD in, you end up with all these import line patterns. You can run it on multiple files. It's one of the batch tools. And so you could just have this run on a Friday evening and go in and clean up some things on your file that should be cleaned up. So with that said, let's take a look at the live demo. Okay, so here I have just the out-of-the-box sample file from Autodesk. It's located in C program files, Autodesk, Revit, samples. And I've here, so this is my linked structural model, and the live information in here is going to be the mechanical. So you can see some ducts, air terminals, etc. Now this project right now, I have one view, which is my 3D view that I'm currently looking at. These are other projects open up here. What I'd like to do is create some additional views for this project. You can see it's a simple building. I've got 3 stories plus a roof. And what I'd like to do is make some views. Now, if I go to my view tab, view templates, manage view templates, you can see I have set up a few view types here, or view templates here. So there's one for ducts, there's a working one for ducts, there's plumbing and plumbing working. I've got these. This is an important part of the view creator. So the view creator, if I go over to my CTC tools, it's part of the BIM managers, sorry, the BIM project suite. My BIM project suite currently has my 3 tools as a single drop down, and then everything else has their own individual command here. So other things you'll definitely want to be looking at inside of here: schedule, Excel, spreadsheet, link. These are wonderful tools for working with Excel or bringing information from Excel into the file and vice versa. I'm going to go over to the view creator right now. So with the view creator, we've got our different levels identified here. I'm going to show you how you can create some plan views. I want to make plan views for level 1, 2, 3, and the roof in the new construction phase. And here we can see all the view templates I can pick from. So I want my fire protection, my duct plans, piping. Yeah, I want pretty much all of these. I didn't pick the no template ones. And what I then do is I hit add. When I hit add, it's going to name them based on, in this case, view template first. So fire protection plan, and then level 1. And then in this case, I've got the phase there, but I've actually turned off the abbreviation for the phase. So if I click add, I get a list there. So I've got fire protection plan, working, level 1, level 2, level 3, roof. Fire protection plan, level 1, level 2, level 3, roof. And you can see big old list there of views. And now we're going to simply hit create views. Let that do its magic for a second or two. And there we go. So it confirms it's made for us 48 views. So I had 4 levels, 12 view templates. And now it's created these for me. I've set up my project browser, so hopefully it organizes them a little bit. I've got my working views down here, working floor plans. There's my fire protection, ductwork, piping, plumbing. If I open up one of these, we can see, if we look at the properties of it, it's applied the view template to here. And so that's all been mapped correctly. And what you don't have to do is right click on here, go to rename and give it a new name, which is very frustrating to have to do if you've got 100 views. So that's the view creator, a simple time-saving tool. Now, next up, I'm going to take a look at the invisibility advisor. Now, if I take a look at my view at the moment, I'm looking at a documentation view, I think. That's a good question. Should have, here we go. Documentation view. Let's pop into here and I'll find it. There we go, this one here. So I've got my floor plan invisibility number 2. I'm also going to open up the HVAC duct working view. Let's find that one. There we go. So level 2 for this one. Now, as I zoom in here a little bit, I've highlighted in green a duct run. Green was a terrible choice on this background, white, but you should be able to see green ducts running down here a little bit. And again, apologies, not great color. I do not have those ducts visible on this view. And so I go in and I check out the visibility graphics and I can see my ducts are visible. I check out my filters. I don't have any filters that are hiding it. Yep, I'm at a loss now. You know, where is this thing? Well, I can go and pick an object that is missing. go to my CTC software, Invisibility Advisor this time. And so now I've got that object selected here. If I didn't pick it before I started the command, I could simply use select element and go and pick it, or I could insert the ID if I happen to know the element ID of that object. I'm also going to come down here. I've got my view that it's missing in. Well, it's showing up in my active view I have open, so I'll pick that there. And then I'll simply hit find element. And okay, so it's telling me that actually the view range is setting that's hiding this element. Now I could hit fix. My view range, you know, that's pretty important to me. I want to know exactly what it's doing. I think fix is going to go and look at the height of that duct and just kind of make it so the view range goes that high, which, you know, it would fix the issue. But maybe I want to take a bit of more of a look at this. So let me go back to there. If I open up my invisibility view it's missing in, I'm going to go into my view template, I guess, because my view range is controlled by that. And we'll take a look here. Okay, so it's cutting at 1200 and it's looking up as far as 3 meters. Well, let's try the level above with a negative 150. So maybe there's 6 inches of slab or whatever. We'll hit apply. And sure enough, popping up on the screen there is that duct run. So the Invisibility Advisor was able to identify one of the numerous reasons why that object might not be showing and help us find that element. Moving into the project cleaner. As mentioned, this is a tool that's going to clean up your files for you to distribute them to a project team. So right now, if I look at my managed links, you can see I've got a few linked Revit files. There's actually some DWGs inside here as well. And that's just the links. What about the imports? There could be a whole bunch of things inside of here that are imported CAD files, imported images, things like that. I've also got views inside of my file, and each of those views are full of annotations. You know, removing the views and sheets and giving it a purge to a typical project takes the file size down by 50%. So let's have a look at what we can do with the Project Cleaner. So Project Cleaner is a free tool, part of the BIM Manager Suite. You install this, you will always have access to it. That's my Project Cleaner. What I have is basically a bunch of checkboxes to say, yes, I do want to get rid of these. No, I don't want to get rid of these. So it's yeah. Somewhat simple to clean views. Header rather than a view, you can't then delete it. So you have to go in and use shift to control to pick everything. Whatever, let's just come on here and say, yeah, let's get rid of those views. Now, if we got rid of the views, probably don't need the templates. If we got rid of the views, we probably don't need the sheets. If we've got rid of the views, we probably don't need the view filters. Right? So all of these view filters here, I can get rid of those. All of these sheets. I've got my links listed here. Yep, don't need them anymore. Got my imports listed here. Get rid of those. Got my images. Didn't load any, but anyway. So that's good. Once I'm ready, I can come up here and hit remove. And it's telling me, okay, you've got 99 views and this many of these and this many of those. Yep, that's the stuff I want to get rid of, please. Oh, can't get rid of the active view. Yeah, maybe I should have opened up like a welcome view or just a detail view or 3D default view. Anyway, I leave the project cleaner going. And in a short amount of time, all of that content will be cleaned out. There we go. Even you can tell the link's gone because the room is now not enclosed properly. That's okay. So yeah, this is still got the one view. That's the one that we're currently looking at. We can't get rid of that one. It's the last one in the project. Everything else though has gone, including a whole bunch of imports, which would have been a real pain to find, to be honest. If I go to my insert now though, manage links, there you go, you can see those Revit CAD links have gone. those Revit and CAD links are gone. So now all that's left is I'll go and give it a good purge. So Project Cleaner, a free tool. Now this next one is my favorite of the tools for two reasons. Number one, it's called Parameter Jammer, just a great name. Number two, though, is that it does really good stuff. So if I pop into here, what I'm going to take a look at is maybe the Air Terminal Master. Nope, not the Air Terminal Master. Let's open up the right one this time. Here we go. So we've got an Air Terminal schedule here. Probably should be organized a bit better. But at the moment, it's pretty empty. What we have is there is one family that is working down the bottom here. So I've got that one just to show, you know, data it should be showing. But if I come into this one, you know, I can't even necessarily edit these items. So what it will do, if I take a look at what I'm actually working with here, back on my views, if I scroll in here, this family is my manufacturer family, let's say. This is my company item. Now my company item has lots of great parameters inside of it. If I come into my types, you can see it's got things inside of here that are used to enable me to do really good scheduling. For example, the type mark, well, we don't use the type mark, we use the identity type mark, which is a shared parameter. That exists inside of that family. If I was to edit the family, go into the types, and take a look at the parameters here, we'll find that all of that content has been loaded inside of this family. Okay. If I take a look at the rest of the content, because basically I've got a project here where only one of them is really working. If I take this one, we'll see it doesn't really have those parameters inside of it. And in order to add them, well, I have to go and edit the family. I have to go to my types. I can add a parameter, which will be a share parameter, and I can select it. Then I've got to go find my share parameter file, which currently is missing, which is not a great sign. That's a good point. I should have that referenced. Yeah, we'll check that in a sec. But anyway, I've got to go find it, and then I've got to pick the actual share parameter and etc. Right? I should probably do that just to make sure it's going to work. Let's see. Live presentations, always fun. Back into the types here. So I go to add, I pick my shared, I go and give it a browse. And this one should be on my D drive. Software. Oops. Let's see. You know what I did? I know what I did. I didn't load up my little ISO file here. This will not take long at all. I'm going to go into CTC software. I'm going to find my, there we go. Okay, let's try that again. So on my drop down here, I should have, there we go, a little DVD loaded up, little ISO file, share parameter, there's the stuff. Okay, pick that file. So even once you pick that file, finding the share parameter involves me knowing what group it was put into. So I might try identity data. And that was lucky, there it is. And so I can add that. And then it says, well, which one did you mean? Okay, yeah. So you can see doing this for every single one of them, very long-winded. Identity type mark. There we go, we're getting there. So I could load that in. Now it's part of my family. But there's a lot of parameters I need to do that to. So the parameter jammer is going to automate that process. In order to get it to work, I go to my CTC tools, find the parameter jammer, and I indicate, first of all, which share parameter file we're using. Hopefully that's there. I'm going to check. Oh yeah, I was probably doing something on a screen you couldn't see a minute ago. Apologies for that. Okay, so inside of my file there, let's just make sure we've got that one. Okay, I'm actually going to go browse for it just to show you. We can pick it up there in the mechanical folder. There's our file. Okay, and so what we're going to do is we're going to indicate the schedule that we'd like to see things working on, which in this case is the air terminal diffuser sizing schedule. And then over here you can see we can add the parameters to the families. So I'm going to do it for a couple of them. I'm going to go with these two. I don't want to do all of them just because it's slower, but I'll do more than one just to show you, yeah, we can do more than one. So basically these are families that can show up on this schedule. Inside of here then it shows me, well, here are all of the schedules parameters that it's found that are not currently set up. It's also, because I've done this before, remembered how these are going to be added. So some of them are type parameters, some of them are instance parameters. Now some of them you can see are already there. So that one's automatically mapped. Now we can, what that will also do is if we have the a value inside of this parameter, it's going to take that information and move it into the shared parameter that's being added in there, which is a really very useful thing. We could have useful data inside of our family already, and we want it to show up in a different column, if you like, inside of the schedule. Well, it enables you to do that via mapping. So that is all for the one family type at the top there. And then you'll see this is for the supply diffusers. So it's doing it for each of them, which is why I didn't want to do all 6 right now. Once I'm ready, I hit next. It'll run through the first family, adding however many parameters that was. It looked like 30 or 40 parameters for each family, which would honestly take more than an hour to do. And if you want your schedules to work with shared parameters, that's work you have to do. And this is why I didn't do all 6, because it's going to take a moment to run through those. Just make sure we're not getting any warning messages. No, don't see anything. Now, one of the nice things about the CTC tools is the mapping that they, the report that they give you at the end. So a little dialogue is going to pop up on the screen. And it's going to either say there was an error, there was a success, some sort of warning, there's a failure, whatever it might be. I'm hoping for a whole bunch of success. Let's see what we get at the end here. So it's editing the families, it's loading the families back in. There we go. A whole bunch of green success indicating all those families that it's loaded. You notice at the top here, we can copy that information to a clipboard, or we can save it as a TXT file. As I got everything saying success, I'm going to be happy to just click OK. Finish that. Now, as I look in my schedule, I believe there's that one. There we go. Rather than complete blank, we're going to get data inside of there for the families that I loaded the information in for. So this was all completely blank before. Now it's coming in as a working, usable schedule. Now, I probably should have grouped these things together a bit. There we go. Itemize every instance, turn that sucker off. There we go, much better. There you go. It says basically a line of the information that's working. Okay. Now the final one is the project processor. So you might find that you're coming up with similar things constantly that are wrong with project files. And it might be those similar things are, you know, in lots of the different projects. So this is a batch tool enabling you to run it on lots of different project files. And what it'll do is it will go in and open up those project files, and it will run these processes. Now you can actually include your own custom scripts if you want. So you can add scripts into here, BAT files, exe files, anything you want to run in there. So it could open the file, it could run this before it opens it. You'll see that it's working down, then running, then opening the files, maybe saving them into a new location, you know, maybe using this to process files for sending to FTP or sending to a client some other way. So you could open them as detached. We can then go in and start renaming things. So rename views, templates, filters, sheets, swap things out. So if you're receiving content from outside and you want to change a dim style from one dim style to another, because maybe you're bringing in DWG content, and when you explode it, you know, you import it as a symbol, you explode it, you want to change it over to Revit content. It always gives you the DWG name inside of the text type and things like that, right? So same with your fill patterns and materials, they come in with funny names from those CAD stuff, so we can swap them out. So take one set of dim line patterns and swap them out for another. Once they're swapped, you want to get rid of the old one. So then the clean one here, for example, this is the one I've got turned on right now. If I go to my line patterns, I'm saying, well, hey, let's look for the ones that have got import in them. If it has, let's clean them, let's delete them, get rid of them. So you can see all the different things that we can clean inside of the file here. We can also run a purge. So you can see different things that can be purged inside of here. So similar to the purge command inside of the software. Okay, so numerous things that we can do with this one. So we've got two stages to it. We pick the files we want to run. So I can go and add a folder if I want. So I could pick my example folder from today. If we go CTC webinar, there we go. And look for any files. Let's go and here we go. So any files inside of that folder would be processed. I'm going to remove that for now. But yeah, so I've got my project process, which is actually open right now. So why don't I just shut it down? I'm going to go and close that file. And then I'll run my processor. He says, there we go, project processor, thinking about it. Okay, and I'll just hit start. So it just goes in and processes that file for us. Now again, this might take a little while, a couple of moments while it goes in and cleans up the file. You know, and I didn't even show you, sorry, there was probably 50 or 60 import line patterns inside of there. Probably should have actually showed you that. So okay, it's saving the file now. You know what, it's probably a backup file I can open to show you, maybe. Might actually prove difficult. Let's see. Okay, let's open it up. Oh, okay, so I got a little report on the other screen indicating everything went as expected. And so now if I open up that file, project processor, there we go. As I go into this one now, there shouldn't be any line patterns that have import at the start of them. And I've also broken all my links. I don't know what I've done there. Okay. Again, the beauty of live presentation. Okay, if I go to manage, go to additional settings, line patterns. I'm sure you've all seen it before where, there we go. Somewhere inside of here, where the alphabet takes me for the letter I, there's a whole bunch of line patterns that start with import. Well, they've been cleaned up. Okay, so that takes us through some of the tools I wanted to show you today. I'll just pop back into here. We'll go from current slide, and there we go. Okay, so if there's any questions, I'll be keeping an eye on the chat window. But I'd like to thank you for attending the webinar today. I hope you found some interesting tools, and please just take a moment to go to the CTC website, where you'll find a download link for all of the different suites that I've highlighted today. Okay, thank you for your time. Goodbye.